Shenanigans. I call shenanigans on yesterday's events. Good afternoon, folks. Hope people are doing well, and just having a good Wednesday. It's Hump Day for me here, hey, yesterday was fun. We played a video game. We played Viewfinder almost all the way to the end. I got to the very last puzzle, and then the very last puzzle defeated me because it was late and I was a sleepy boy. Yesterday's stream was like 6+ hours. That's wild. Don't expect that today. In fact, if anything, solid chance of a short stream today. Just to make up for the fact that I ate up my entire night yesterday with that, and then having dinner and blah 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 blah. No. I mean, if I circumstances proceeding as they may, it's likely that I will my streams will shift to a more evening thing in the future. But for the moment, no. For the moment, no. So let's get to it. Let's get to it quick before any viewers potentially arrive and derail me from my holy mission. What mission is that, you ask? And I answer by saying the mission of looking at these weird-ass books. And okay, let me make sure I've got what I need over here. This is... Give me a second. You'd think, having done this a time or 3, I would have this, you know, set. There would be no... oh, yeah, you can see all of this. Yeah, basically, here we go. Just oh boy, there's this level of professionalism never before seen on the internet. There we go. Hi, Monty. I know you're watching. And so therefore, you know that this is the quality that I'm providing in my semi-coherent grousing about your game. Now, where did we leave off last week? Time means nothing to me, except time is now everything to me. Hey, folks. Guess what it sucks to be right now in... Guess what it sucks to be in right now? The job market. Woo! And you're thinking, well, Dan, go get a job. My brother in Christ, I have been trying. That's what I've been doing all day. If I sound a little out of it by now, it's because that's what I've been doing all day. I've been sending out the resumes and putting out the feelers and doing the things. And oh boy, is that exhausting. So another reason why I think I went so hard on the video game yesterday, because it was an escape. My brain needed to do something. Clearly I had a lot of brain energy to burn off, and it needed to be burnt off on something that wasn't... It's not doom scrolling, it's just doom breathing. Is that just depression? Is doom breathing just depression? I think it might be. You know what helps with depression? A job. Okay, maybe it does. No, that's actually fully trivializing. It does not. I take it back. But a job certainly helps to give you opportunities to deal with it. That can't argue with me on that one. So let's see. So we left off here. Character and house. We're still in character creation. We've been at this is what, the 3rd week that I've been grousing semi-coherently about this game. And we're still in character creation. Because this game, and I kind of realized this, I don't know if I said it earlier on the stream, I have no memory of anything I've done before. You can't hold me to it. If I don't remember having done it, then who's to say it ever happened? So I have no memory of any of our earlier streams. I just kind of go by vibes in general. I try and find, it's like, all right, where am I? It's kind of a memento thing. I can look around. It's like, all right, based on the evidence left behind, past Dan was doing this. And so therefore, having found the wow, I am completely blanking on the bookshelf, bookmark. God damn it, Dan. Bookmark in these pages is how I know. You know what? Thank you, past Dan. Present Dan, thanks you. And you know what? I'm sure future Dan will probably thank you again for remembering to use the bookmark, even if present Dan apparently cannot fucking remember how to say bookmark. I don't know what's wrong with me today. No, I know what's wrong with me today. It's capitalism. This is wrong with me every day. But anyway, point is, this is where we left off, thanks to the truth of the bookmark. Let's follow where that truth leads us. Because, okay, so the thing I realized over the weekend, having discussed the game a bit with my friends, because I hadn't seen my friends in about 3 weeks, so I finally got to see my friends this past weekend. Of course, being the huge nerd that I am, I spoke to them about, this thing. And you would think the nerdery would be contained to just this stream and only, the few, the proud, let me stress this again, few, my viewers. And we would keep this whatever this is contained, but unfortunately it still comes out sometimes when I'm out in the streets. And my friends, I'm sorry to say, bear the brunt of that heavy burden. So I was talking to Dave about this, and it turns out that this game is just basically character creation, the game. Like, you're just constantly, like, there are mechanics, right? At some point there are mechanics. There is harm you can take, there are spells you can cast, there are dice that you roll. But plenty of games have dice rolling as part of their character creation. And this may be a slight cop-out. But and you could also say that all games are just extended character creation, in the sense that if building your character's story is considered quote-unquote character creation, then yeah, and you're always tweaking, you're always adding skills, you're doing something. So in that sense, yes, all games are just extended character creation. But Invisible Sun in specific, it caters to the sense in us that wants to write a 35-page backstory for each and every one of our characters that is both epic and deep and tragic and beautiful and romantic and sad and happy and hopeful and all these things. And I'm trying to find the words for it, but you can do that, for example, for your D&D character, right? You write your 35-page backstory, getting all the way to now they're a level 1 fighter. Cool. But then from that point onward, the game that's there is about the specific things that happen to the fighter, right? And this is just going to be like there's a path. There's a path that's chosen for you. I'm trying to differentiate in my head why that feels different from this game, and it's hard. I'm like picking at the threads, pulling at it a little, trying to figure it out myself why it feels different. But this game really does feel like it is just like the playthrough, the way it's the way that you're supposed to have this back and forth with the physical elements of the game. I can't put it into words exactly why it feels like that to me, but it do. So it's an extended version of character creation. If that sounds appealing to me, and I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of sound appealing to me, then for you, in that sense, this has the potential to be a good game. But it really is a game. Okay, look, in every game there is a level of you get out as much as you put in, right? Like, people go gaga over Mothership or Shadow Dark, right? And those games, to me, are very much, almost to their core, very much about you get out what you put in, and then some. They are multipliers of getting out what you put in. But because they're very minimal, they're very they're seasoning. They're little bit of seasoning that is, or I mean, no, it's a game. It's a framework. It's a framework upon which you get to build your stories, and they are frameworks that are designed to build certain types of stories, right? As is any other tabletop RPG. Again, I am struggling to define why it's different in Invisible Sun. Okay, here's why I think it's slightly different in Invisible Sun, and I don't make me put these thoughts together yet, because they're not together yet. But you know, we're figuring it out. And it is that whereas something like Mothership, Shadow Dark, which are more rules light, you get out of them what you put in the sense that if you're just very minimal with them, if you don't create a story for your character, then you're just, you know, you're playing a simplified version of D&D, and you're just gonna feel very limited. Because these are very, you know, OSR games in general. I think it's one of the things that it's easy to mistake about them. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing, friend? Welcome in, buddy. One of the things about OSR games that I think is easy to forget is that their rule sets are minimal because they're meant to rely a lot more on player creativity and sort of GM fiat. Rather than defining a skill for every single thing, there are certain core things that characters can do, and then everything outside of that is basically just a conversation between the GM and the players, which is in its own way kind of like going back to the core. It's kind of called old school, you know, old school revival. This goes the complete opposite direction. It's maximalist in that sense, where it's just so many. All you're doing is cramming more detail into your character by way of story. Let's see here. Equipment freakiness. Equipment finickiness is important. Counting torches, ammo, etc. 10-foot pole, marbles. Yeah, stuff like that. Exactly. No, exactly. That is part of it. That is part of it. So the stuff that it wants you to focus on, the stuff that there is rules for, there are very specific rules. But everything else is just like, go. It's a story that you're telling. Let's go. You know, we're not going to. Like the things that we're going to define are the things that are like the core of this world. So for example, Shadow Dark, yeah, counting your torches and having this, you know, in real life torch timer, and a lot of other games, like they have their core things. These are the things we track, but you build around that, and building around that means, again, you get out what you put in. This game, however, it's still the same effect. You get out what you put in, but whereas it's an entry level thing. So again, contrasting it to Shadow Dark. Shadow Dark is a very low entry level. You don't need a lot of buy-in to have the core sort of Shadow Dark experience. You just want to play the game. That's a sort of mini war game, or your very old school version of D&D. Then go for it. Fine, enjoy and have fun with the game. But if you have the full buy-in and you want to tell the story, then you can really tell some really good stories within that system. Again, you get out what you put in, but the barrier to entry, the barrier of you at least get the core experience is very low. Invisible Sun is anything but, right? The barrier is a fucking superimposing, old school, Great Wall of China, level of massive gate there, beyond which lies only more effort and suffering, all for the sake of just getting so deep into telling this story. So that's the thing. This game is only going to appeal, and this is a tautology. Apologies for this, but it's only going to appeal to the type of person that this type of game would appeal to. That's a complete tautology, but it is the fact. It is the fact that when you look at how high that wall is, you have one of two reactions, right? You have one of two reactions. You either go, Yeah, no, I do not have time for that shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you got scammed for however much it was on that Kickstarter. Enjoy your giant black cube of sad. Bye, right? Or the other one, the other reaction, the one that I have yet to see in the wild, is, oh, holy shit, yes, yes, right? And there's really not a lot in between. There's really not a lot in between. Whereas with Shadow Dark, that it's not a wall of acceptance. It's a gentle slope of acceptance. And I think that's the biggest difference there. It is a game that is built again. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it again. It is a game that is built for the kind of person that it is built for. You know, it is. It's got to be a better way to phrase that, but it really is. It is built to give ye who wants. You know, if you're the kind of person who gets offended if you're given anything less than a character folio, all right, that character sheet, a mere character sheet, cannot contain the greatness of your OCs, then again, here we go. Here is the game for thee, O creator of OCs. Oh, here is the game for thee, O creator of OCs. Whatever thou mayest desire to create can be made and more beneath the light of the invisible sun. Monty, hire me to promo your shit. But anyway, so with that in mind, with that understanding of the true nature of this game, that being that, hey, ChatGPT, summarize this for me. Okay, right. ChatGPT says it's nerd shit for nerds. So now that we've established that that's what this is, just nerd shit for nerds. Let us continue with a more a lighter heart, a more unburdened heart, because now have we answered? Actually, no. Our heart remains lightly burdened, less burdened, because this is now more of a accept the cringe, embrace the cringe, dance through the cringe. Only through the cringe can we come out the other side sort of situation, but also the fact that I've completely lost my train of thought. The fact that I sincerely have lost my train of thought. That we're going to just continue with this. We're going to go a little bit quicker, a little bit more lighthearted, because we now I believe it has broken us. It has broken us to the point where we no longer take it seriously. We are now that laughing prisoner in the dungeon of the black cube. Right, trapped within the black cube, in the endless prison that I can assume is within the black cube. I don't know what's within the black cube. That's like 5 books away from here. But I can only assume at this point that it is some kind of prison in which you, I, and all of us are trapped, an inescapable box from which one can never escape. Therefore, inescapable. Great work, Dan. Great work. Hey, smash that like button. Subscribe. Point is, we still have to answer a question, though. Is it a good game? And now there is a caveat to that, right? For the people for whom it is made, all right? So having understood that this game is a game laser focused on a specific group, a specific kind of person, right? This is not a broad appeal game. This is very much a hey you turbo nerd, we're coming for your wallet kind of game, which explains why I have it. I regret nothing. I regret everything. I have regrets. Oh, so many regrets. Anyway, Point is, now that we've established that caveat, so now for those people, meaning me, primarily, I have yet to see another copy of this in the wild. Actually, no. I did see another copy at a Dreamation a couple of years ago. So I know for a fact that at least 2 copies exist in the world. I cannot confirm that any others. I've never met anyone else, and I hope never to. I believe if too many Invisible Sun box Black Cube owners get together in one place, bad things could happen. So it's best to avoid. Anyway, let's answer that question. Let's find out. But now with a lighter heart and a lighter step. So we learned about secrets. Right now, secrets are like merits, kind of, in this game. Like, you basically, it says a secret can be viewed as a treasure or reward that a PC can obtain. But they are, but they're not a thing. They're a secret. They're a thing that you learn, and learning that thing enables something. So they are enablers, but they are not things that can be taken away. Once you learn the secret, it is yours. It is with you. And so there are a whole bunch of them, right? Character secrets, but also houses can have secrets that you can buy for them, because as we've seen in previous weeks, right, this game is all about your characters, it's all about character creation. So your house is basically part of your character, part of character creation, and adding to it, expanding it, giving it more capacities and capabilities is very much part of the game. It's just constant about character growth and character and the intertwining of the characters' stories, and experiencing joys and experiencing despairs to become even more experienced and powerful, which is, sure, I'm down. So let's check out a few of these character secrets real quick. So let's see here. From the first one, so for example, here we go. The very, very, very first one we have on the list is the additional target secret. You can add an additional target to any spell that affects targets. You must spend half again sorcery, so level 5 spell costs 8 sorcery. Spells that affect only you or that affect an area are not affected. That's nice. That's a nice little secret. I feel like we actually looked at this one last week, but what is time? But yeah, that's a nice little bonus, right? That's a nice, like, hey, normally this spell, it's one target. But with this secret, once I learn it, level 5 secret, now I can do that. I know the secret for how to doing that. So now I can do that with all my magics. It's not just a specific thing, right? That's pretty cool. Like, secrets enable you. They're almost like knowing, like, cheats. Like, I guess, like knowing the cheat codes of reality, almost. Very sort of Demon the Descent kind of vibe with that one. So let's learn another secret. Oh, here we go. Antigram. It's a level 10 secret. That's hopefully a juicy one right there. Let's see. You get plus 3 dice when using the Antigram secret. If you know someone's secret name, you can attempt to determine its antigram. An antigram is an arrangement of letters in their secret name, and it doesn't need to follow conventional rules of spelling. The antigram of Juranil might be Juraluair, for example. Every secret name has an antigram, and if it is spoken aloud while touching the being, they are consumed forever. Oh, that's actually a really cool secret to learn, because that's just plot device. You can just the encounter writes itself. Let's see. Determining an antigram is usually quite difficult, and obviously most beings aren't going to try to give the Visley multiple opportunities to try guesses. If the name has 6 letters, for example, there are 720 possible antigrams. A 7-letter name has more than 5,000, and of course, pronunciation matters, and that can be challenging in many cases. But that's still a hell of a secret, so basically, now you know how to do that. If you can find somebody's antigram, and then you can just get a hand on them and say it, they're done. Like, that is campaign shit. Level 10, of course. Meanwhile, at level 2, right above it here, you've got Ant Whisper. You can speak to ants. Moreover, because you know so much about ants and their culture and customs, so now we're establishing that ants have a culture and customs, you gain +2 in your attempts to persuade them to do something. So, you know, there's a wide array. We're not even out of the A's yet on the secrets. Which is good stuff. It's good stuff. I actually really like the just all the weird little powers and stuff. Like Breatharian, you have learned to draw sustenance from the air. By the way, if anybody watching is curious and dumb, I don't think anybody here in chat is this dumb, but sometimes it needs to be said. If you've ever looked into Breatharianism in the real world, that shit don't work. Please, for the lowest sake, for God's sake, just eat something. Eat something. This is a thing in a game. Do not follow the examples given in the game. The game hates you. It wants to hurt you. It does not hate you. It does not want to hurt you. But point is, this whoever is telling you to be a Breatharian in real life, they hate you and want to hurt you. Don't do that. Cool. That was a fun little side diversion. I'm so good at this. Let's look at another secret. Defensive dreaming. Level 6 +1 die. If someone wakes you while you're dreaming and they are near you, you awaken, but they disappear for 3 minutes, trapped and lost within your dream. That's a really cool one. That's really cool. Also, I mean, again, that's also like, don't tell the new guy. Don't tell the new guy and go have him wake Steve. Go have him wake Steve. Hey, Steve. And Steve's like, oh, what the fuck? Where's the new guy? Meanwhile, the new guy is like now in a fucking nightmare realm for 3 minutes. I love it though. Let's see. Let's check out some more. There is the extended duration series. So there's a lot of like basic sort of expand your abilities secrets. Like elevate spells. You can spend additional sorcerer bene to increase the spell's level by 1 when you cast it. Expansive endeavor lets you spend up to 3 bene from an appropriate stat pool instead of just 1. Of course, for that you have to have magnificent. This is a level 3. I think that's a level 2. That's basically lets you spend 2 bene, and then there's an additional one, which is this one's a requirement for. So they're basically, you have to build on them. You have to buy one before you get the other ones that are just increasing certain basic capacities. But there are also the ones that are really funky. So like basic capacity, Frost Mage, Winter and Ice are your siblings. Any spells with the cold facet cost you 1 less sorcery to cast. Useful, good bread and butter secrets to get. And there's a few that are like all about being a ghost, which is interesting because, okay, so one thing this game does is, I think they said it earlier, but it gets discussed more in later books, is that if you die, it's a deal. Like, it does suck, especially if you weren't planning for it. But you get to keep playing as a ghost. You can, if you choose to, just kind of keep playing as your own ghost. And there are specific secrets that you can learn to increase your capabilities as a ghost, while still sort of just being the ghost of yourself. It's weird. This game is weird. I don't know what you're expecting from me. It's a weird game. But so one of those ghost secrets is Ghostly Hand, level 5, as a stage 3 ghost. So there are stages. Again, at some point, I know this gets explained later because I've seen the explanation, but there are multiple stages of ghosthood that you go through as you kind of grow in power in your ghostliness. I'm sure there's better terms in the game. As a stage 3 ghost, you can manipulate objects or affect something in the material world, such as shoving a creature or writing on a steamy mirror. If you succeed at a sorcery-based action with a challenge equal to the level of the object or material you're affecting, you basically have the same strength and manual dexterity you had in life when performing this action. So basically, just you have to, it gives you the chance to just interact, just pick up these cards and move them around with your ghost hands. Maybe you can ghost punch somebody. So you get the idea, right? There are secrets for that as well. There are there are the thumbs, so green thumb, gray thumb, indigo thumb. I think I saw blue thumb somewhere back here. Blue thumb. And so all the thumbs are basically that all the spells of that color, you add 1 to the level of their, they get 1 extra level for free. They are 1 level more effective, but doesn't cost you an extra bene to do so. Or sometimes, yeah, exactly. Usually, like the ones, so Frost Mage, for example, this winter and ice are your siblings. Any spells with the cold facet cost you 1 less sorcery to cast. But then the thumbs, so maybe the, yeah, because the thumbs are colors, so it's more bigger categories. So depending on, it doesn't matter the color. If it's a frost, or if it's got the cold acid, this will affect it. Thumbs affect the color, but the color ones, what you actually get is that your spells in that color are more powerful. There we go. That's what we were getting at. Idea theft secret. You steal an idea from someone's mind. If you succeed in an action with their level as a challenge, there is no cost, but if you fail, you cannot try again. And the being knows what you tried to do, which is, I'm going to say, is probably considered rude. If you succeed, you gain the idea and they lose it. So you can steal the idea that they need to talk to the superior about the strange rumor they've been hearing, or the idea that you are a thief, or the idea of the password to the whisper lock, or even the idea of their dog's name, which is rude to make somebody forget their pet's name. Don't do that. Don't do that. Steal the password. Leave my dog out of this. People can get the same idea again, however. If you steal the idea of the name of the book that holds a specific secret, and then someone else tells them the name again, they have it again. An idea is just an idea. It's not a spell. It's not a character secret like those found in this chapter. But still, very cool to be able to just kind of like go up to somebody and just like swipe an idea. Again, this game plays fast and loose with certain lines when it comes to mental magic, and there's an example. But also in game and character, incredibly useful. Let's see here. Let's check something else. There's also secrets. For example, if you want to play a martial character, there are ways. And it's mostly the apostate route, right? And you can pick up certain apostate abilities, right? That make you deadlier in combat. And then there are specific secrets like Lethal Lore, which is level 4 secret. You know the secret of really hurting someone. Any attack you make against a single target inflicts +3 damage. Any attack you make against multiple targets or an area inflicts +1 damage. So again, like there are secrets, there are ways to kind of make a character that's less magic-y if you really want to. Which, I gotta say, at least I appreciate that, because, who doesn't... there are entire isekais about that, about just the story of just the one guy who can go up against the wizards while having basically no magic, just being really buff. So this is close to that, right? This is just like my magic is... It's Mashal. It's Mashal, the anime. If you haven't seen Mashal, by the way, you're missing out. Mashal is a good time. Like his muscles are his magic. He's just so inhumanly strong. And actually, no, like in the end, I think it's found out. Like I don't want to spoil it for you. But there are reasons for why he's so strong. But also, like, he technically has no magic. He just really is that inhumanly strong. But through sheer strength alone and the power of just anime bullshit physics, he is basically able to just overshadow the magic. So here you can kind of do something like that. You can kind of like focus all your advancements and everything into just making yourself a physically lethal individual. More power to you, I guess. Let's see. Any other interesting secrets? Magnify spells. Necromancer secret is just a level 4 secret. I would have expected more, but it's just a simple level 4 secret that says you are proficient with the funereal depths of death magic. Any spell with a death facet costs you 1 less sorcery to cast. I would have expected like something more, but okay, cool, neat. Let's see. Poetic magic as a secret. This one's long. Let's see. Level 4 secret. You can hide a spell within lines of poetry that you write. The verse must be original, lengthy, and in flowing script, and the spell must be one you can cast. The whole process takes a minimum of 17, not necessarily consecutive hours. But when someone reads and digests the lines, which takes at least an hour, it is as though the spell is cast upon them. Each person can be potentially affected only once, and no more than one reader can be affected between 2 sunsets. Most mage poets have the poem and its imagery relate to the spell, although it may be obfuscated. In fact, the words and meaning of the poem may figure into the spell itself. For example, if the spell is soul compulsion, the desire or need implanted by the spell will be described in the poem. This sounds like a fun way to create cursed items and traps for unsuspecting bards. But also cool. Cool little secret to know. And I'll say some of these secrets, like, you can basically like build a character identity around. Like that whole poetic magic thing. That can just be your thing. You're a mage poet. Let's see. Let's get another secret. Just a simple, the third eye secret. It's level 4. You see a distant place as though you were there. When you first learn the secret, you discover the location of your third eye by seeing through it. The eye is located somewhere amid the worlds, and you have to find it. Once you do, if you touch it, you can move it with you and leave it anywhere you like. Only you can touch and see it. To you, it looks and feels just like one of your other eyes. So it's a ghost eye that just exists out there. So this is a secret. So is the assumption that everyone technically just has a third eye out there? And learning the secret just lets you like perceive like, oh shit, I'm seeing through another eye, and is this the underside of a dumpster? What the fuck? And then you have to go find it. And then you find it, and it's invisible. It's invisible, so nobody sees it at least, but you see it. It's just been on the ground like all your life. It's just kind of there. Like, you're gonna have to disinfect it. What happens if you drop your third eye into like a bath of like oxygen peroxide or something? It's like it's full disinfection. Does it hurt? I hope not. Power doesn't say. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna house rule no. Poet mage. Made you a pie. Enjoy. Don't look too dipply. Yep. Oh, okay. This is fun. I like these. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Anything else before we kind of move on? We have a... Oh, here we go. So here's a way to power up your Goetic. The Way with the Beyond. Level 7. If you are a Goetic, you can conjure entities of 2 levels higher than normal. So if you are 3rd degree and can normally summon beings no higher than level 7, you can now summon a being of up to level 9. So again, a way to increase your ability with secrets. You must know Otherworldly Touch before you can learn Way with the Beyond, but the two do not add together. Way with the Beyond supersedes. Okay, so I'm guessing Otherworldly Touch is one that we probably skip, which probably lets you add 1 level higher than normal. They tend to build on each other like that. Let's see. Okay, let's keep going. Weapon Whisper. You can whisper soft commands and assurances to your weapon as an action. For the rest of a combat encounter, that weapon's level is increased by 1. Again, little secrets if you want to be the edgiest boy in all the land. And then, now we can buy some secrets for your house, which is normally a good place to store your secrets, I'm going to say. For example, the secret of being an advanced house. This isn't just a house. It's an advanced house. It's kind of how I feel about this apartment, honestly. I need a job. I need a job. I need to pay for this apartment. Advanced house, level 3. Your house's overall level increases by +1. You can learn this secret many times, each time adding +1 to your house's level. Alright, so it's just basically the basic level up your house secret. Cool. Let me get something more tasty. Let's see. The Egoist's room. What is the Egoist's room? It's a level 3 secret. One room in your house always agrees with you and compliments you. At various times when you're in the room, the furnishings, bric-a-brac, walls, floors, and ceiling all form human-like faces and tell you how wonderful you are. If you say something while in the room, they agree with you. There's no like in-game effect. It's just a room that likes you and then thinks you're great and agrees with everything you say, you know? How weird would it be to make that room the bathroom? It would be very weird, is the answer to that question. But within the world of Invisible Sun, how weird would that be? Like, if this is a thing you could make, which technically it is, nothing's stopping me from buying like an Arduino and a couple of speakers. Maybe, you know, they won't form faces. It has some screens. But I mean, you could do it. Get a really cheap AI, run it locally. Because all it needs to be able to do is just be a sycophant. We can make the Egoist room happen in real life. That's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Alright. Meanwhile, over on level 10, we've got the Embodied Home. When no one is in your house, you can command it to take on a humanoid form. It appears as a person next to you, follows you wherever you go, and serves you as a porter or a butler. An intelligent NPC with the same level it had as a house. Anytime you wish, the house can return to its house form wherever you are, assuming there's space, and you can enter it as normal. Shout out to all the housefuckers out there. Invisible Sun knows what you're after. I mean, it's cute. It's cool. I get it. I like it. I dig it. Floating dinnerware. Meanwhile, back at level 2. The table sets and clears itself at your command. The plates and utensils wash themselves in the sink and dry themselves before putting themselves away. Look. I want a hot house waifu as much as the next Visley. But I'm spending my points on floating dinnerware that washes itself. Holy shit. The dream. This is the fantasy this game is fulfilling. All right, other games are like you get to have, you know, flaming swords and magic and kill dragons. And this game is like you can have all that, and also you can have a funky little house where your dishes wash themselves, and then it turns into a cute waifu. The problem is, then you have no place to live while it's your waifu, so you have to turn it back into a house, and then you sleep in your empty bed. You heard me. No, that's what you get. You've spent the points. That's look. Rules as written. You know me. I'm a stickler for the rules, nerd. Oh shit! The free room level 5. Everyone in one room of the house can read the mind of everyone else in the room. This can facilitate communication or become a nightmare depending on the individuals involved. That's an absolute nightmare. Holy shit! If any, okay, if we're playing this game, actually no, if we're playing this game and one of you fuckers buys that for your house, I'm all in. Let's go. Out of character. In character, I will never forgive you. It better be like the most labeled, like, do not enter here, disclaimer, sign away, you know, all the rights before you step into this room. You fool. You absolute boob. Otherwise, Jesus Christ. Let's see. Let's get some other secrets. So there's the hiding house secret. Just a level 2. NPCs cannot find your house unless they are higher level than the house, or unless they already know the way. A PC must attempt an intellect action with the house's level as the challenge. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Just kind of like have a house that, you know, the normal people can't find, but higher level people. So you know what? One thing is striking me about Cypher system games in general, Invisible Sun in specific, but Cypher system games, I think, and I think more than like D&D even. But, and I'm just drawing this connection because I've been listening. I'm a fan of lit RPG, a genre, if you will, of writing. Not genre. Anyway, it's a specific genre of writing which is very hit or miss. Very hit or miss. There's a lot of absolute trash in that genre, just like with like isekai. In anime, there's a lot of trash, and then there are some truly amazing ones. So lit RPG is kind of like that, but it's basically like lit RPG is very much in the same vein and family of isekai. So there tends to be a lot of like I died, or the planet got taken over by aliens or something like that, and I came back, or have been reborn, or have been given abilities in a new game that just so happens to work very much like an RPG with levels and potions and items and vendors and stuff like that. That's the general gist, and there are multiple variations on that. And then one of the ones that I've been listening to a lot, of course, is Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's if any lit RPG series has just the raw quality on its own, whether you like the genre or not, you're probably gonna like Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's just a good story, but also like it's got the most crossover appeal, and I think we're seeing that. Like it's in stores. Like most lit RPG things are like, you know, like Kindle books. Dungeon Crawler Carl is like the huge crossover darling right now, and with good reason. They are amazing. Check out Dungeon Crawler Carl. The books are great. If you enjoy audiobooks, the audiobooks are amazingly well read / acted. You're going to think that it is a full cast recording. It is not. It's just one guy. He's amazing. Highly recommended. Anyway, besides that, another one that is considered like one of the best in the genre, and I kind of bounced off it at first, but now I'm back in it, I'm kind of getting back into it, is the Cradle series. And the Cradle series is a specific sort of subgenre, or side genre almost, of the sort of lit RPG world, which is cultivation. And it is very much a more sort of Eastern mysticism focused, very a lot of like Chinese influence. You'll see a lot of manhwa that take this like cultivation stance, and it's very much like I'm blanking on the term, like hidden tiger, crouching tiger, hidden dragon, not wushu. I think it's wushu. Yeah, I think it's like wushu kind of movie. Or, you know, like you might call it like waifu, but it is like that sort of vibe. There are martial artists, and they have different levels, and so cultivation specifically is very focused on like these levels, and your characters are progressing through these different stages and levels of advancement as they go, and there's a very sort of clear delineation generally in power that, you know, spoilers, in most of these the hero somehow usually tends to overcome those limitations shortly before or shortly after breaking through to the next level they need to be at. So they, you know, so they both like reinforce and sort of deny the strictness, in that, oh, you're weak, so you will always be weak, and then they grow and they become stronger, and they become the next stage, and now they beat the fuck out of the person who thought that they would be forever weak, you know, and rinse, repeat, right? So all of that, bringing it back here, is that I do get this sort of weird like feeling of like that one level difference makes all the difference, right? It's for example, the hiding house, right? Higher level than the house. Cannot find your house unless you're higher level than the house, or unless they already know the way. So that means if you have a level 4 house, then anybody who is level 4 or lower, and this applies only to NPCs, right? PCs themselves don't really have like a power ranking, but all NPCs and all other things, just everything else within how this works, it's just simply, it boils down to, that's just both the beauty and the, you know, the sort of the stark simplicity of Cypher system, is that all things can be reduced back to just a single number, right? And you know, everything else is detail. And so like anybody up to level 4 can't find it at all, and then level 5 and higher switch is flipped, and it's completely like anybody level 5 or higher has no problem finding your house, right? And as the house gets higher, then it takes higher level to find it, but it is that like every level higher is a just complete like everything below me is trash kind of thing. And I do kind of get that a bit from just the way the system is, right? Since it's designed for that, that's like things have a specific level you have to meet or beat. As soon as you have that, it just basically it becomes a binary, right? But that binary kind of leads to some interesting in-universe consequences, where what is otherwise a modest increase in actual power, right? Because you probably don't do like, it's not an exponential increase in actual power, but unlocking that next level, being that higher level by 1, does grant you access to an entire class of stuff that was impossible for you before. There's now another class of stuff right above you that is now just as impossible as before, but it is cool, like it is, even though it is a spectrum, it is still like a very chunky spectrum, I feel like, with stuff like this, where there is not like, you know, I guess it's like this in most games now that I think about it. Am I just kind of talking on my ass here? Yes, I kind of am. But it does feel like, it feels like that sometimes with Cypher systems specifically, that whole, you know what it is? I think it is that there are so many things within Cypher system that are just a binary decision, not a roll, right? It's not that like, oh, an NPC needs to roll to see your house, to find your house, and your hiding house secret rating gets subtracted from that roll or something like that. So with that, if there's a roll involved, right, then the NPC has a chance to fail. So even a higher level NPC might fail at finding your house because they got a bad roll, even though they had much better chances, right? A 1 is still a 1 kind of thing. But with the way it's kind of set up, it's like, no, it's, you know, there's no rolling. Either everybody who's this level lower, not a chance in hell. Everybody higher than that level, barely an inconvenience. You might as well not have it. Not a complaint, just sort of a noticing that in Cypher system especially, and it does feel a little weird sometimes with how some of the powers are. But you know what also always feels a little weird? That's right. There we go. There we go. Hey. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Anyway, says here, it makes levels exist. It does, exactly. It is. You might as well be like, I am a level, like, yeah. In fact, in Numenera, that's kind of the thing. Like, there is no real way to talk about certain things that's not in-game terms, right? Like, at that point, the levels are not an abstraction. They are an actual in-game, in-world element. Their existence is effectively real within the universe. Exactly. It's weird. You know, it just is how it is, right? Anyway. Again, what's not weird is the fact that we once again have to go to ads. So you've been here for an hour. You know the drill. We'll take a quick 3-minute break, and then I will be right back. Welcome back, folks. We have returned after the ad zone. I hope that was as enjoyable for you as it was for me. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. Let's go back to the overhead and continue with the semi-coherent rambling that y'all are so kind to sit through with me on this fine Wednesday afternoon. So I'm warning. I'm thinking I might call it 3 hours in, maybe even 2 hours. So we'll see how I feel. Because I went extra long yesterday. I actually do have some things I need to do, so I may call it an early stream. As of right now, I'm saying I'll probably wrap up around 6 instead of going all the way to 7 as usual. But also, there is a non-zero chance that I might just wrap it up next hour, depending on how I'm feeling. Because I do have to do just a few things, and I'd rather not be just tired for that. So, there. Anyway, let us continue here. Where do we have? What do we have? Let's see. These are the house secrets. Let's look at another little house secret. We have gotta do what you gotta do. I do indeed. Let's see. The yes room all the way down here. In one room of your house, chosen when you learn the secret, others find it very difficult to refuse your requests. Guests are affected as if you personally cast a level 6 mind control spell on them each time you ask or tell them to do something. Once the being successfully resists, however, they are immune to the effect, so that's nice. But also, that's the grape room, isn't it? Oh boy. Well, again, this game makes no... It makes no moral claim on magic. It's just like, yep, this is the thing you can do with magic. Is it a dick move? I mean, yeah, probably. It's your call. But it is the thing you can do. You can have a room that's like that. Well, I'm gonna judge you though if you take that one. Why would you put it in the game anyway? It's like, yeah, you know, just saying. It's the kind of thing people would have. People. What kind of people? Monty, you got some explaining to do. What kind of people? Anyway. Those are the secrets. Cool. I like them as a game concept. I like them. They're basically just merits, not flaws, just merits. But they just expand your abilities or give you neat little tricks. But again, some of them are interesting enough to be like arc defining, so they really just go the whole gamut from just a simple like, okay, here's my spells are a tiny bit more powerful, versus, but then again, just like we just saw, a 1 level increase in a spell can make all the difference, right? Like a creature that was entirely 100% out of your reach before can now be 100% entirely within your reach just by getting that 1 little extra level power boost. So let's see. Then there's the ephemera, which we happen to have a deck here for ephemera objects. So these are ciphers, right? These are the cipher system loves its ciphers. It just loves to have little magical, technological, or in the case of this game, just straight up magical, because it's all magic. It's magic all the way down. Invisible Sun. It's magic all the way down. But they love the concept of just little weird little throwaway items, because I don't know which D&D magic item table hurt Monty as a child, but he just loves himself the concept of just a random table, random assortment, random deck of cards of weird shit of all like potential levels of power, and just throwing them at the players without planning. right? If anything, actually, the fact that they gave you cards in this game for it is a little bit more control given to the GM, because normally the GM has to, like, if they roll and they get a result that they're like, I'm not gonna let my players have that, that'll break the campaign, they have to like be a dick about it and go like, can you roll again? No, not that one. And you know, it always, players understand, but also, you know, yeah, but I wanted the pocket nuke though. I rolled the pocket nuke. Give me a pocket nuke. Anyway, with the cards, you can just remove the pocket nukes from the deck, and then just give them the rest of the cards, and they just get to choose from that. You don't have to outlaw certain numbers. You just remove the cards from the deck. So I guess thank you for that, Monty. But anyway, Monty just loves that concept. And with that comes the, but then what's to keep players from just hoarding them? The 99 Phoenix Downs problem, by the way. Let's see, it's altering the deck of many things. Exactly, like altering the deck of many things. So I have altered the deck. Pray I do not alter it further. But you know, how do you stop the loot goblins? How do you stop the loot goblins? How do you stop the people from stockpiling 99 Phoenix Downs, 99 potions, 99 high potions? The standard going into not even the last boss of the game loadout, but just around the midpoint of the game, you're just walking into every fight with 99 potions, 99 Phoenix Downs, 99 high potions, 99 ethers, 99 high ethers, because that's just how you roll, because you're always saving them for that one fight that never actually arrives, except the one time that it does, and your characters just get wiped out long before any of those potions would have made a difference. I'm getting off track. Anyway, how do we stop that? Asks Monty Cook to the skies. And the skies open up and they say, give them a limit. And so Monty Cook said, cool. And he put limits. So basically all the cipher systems started with Numenera, and they all have like a limit on how many of these Gigaws, in this case ephemera, Numenera, items, whatever, you can have at a single time. And so with in most games it's usually 3. In this game it's also 3. Certain types can learn to carry more ephemera at once. So like I think weavers and makers especially get to carry more ephemera. Apostates can learn ways to carry more ephemera. Some secrets are also there for that. There is a specific secret that allows people to carry up to 10 ephemeras, but only if they are displayed for sale. So you know, there's the merchant loophole, because as soon as Monty Cook wrote that mechanic, like it was immediately self-evident. That's like, so how do we have stores for these things now? How do people sell them if the most you can ever have without blowing up is 3? Like, what happens if you store them all in a room together but nobody actually owns them? Like, what is going on? And so that's one of those things that has had to be addressed through in-game mechanics, because once you've established that this is a thing and you have to keep with that in the world fiction, then you have to now invent more bullshit to get around the limitation. So, you know, I'm just saying that the item limit, while it does it does work in getting you to cycle through them a little bit, but it's still like, it's an inelegant solution to a problem that you yourself, sir, Mr. Cook, created, which is the absolute gleeful joy with which you want people to just roll on tables or pull a random card, and now everybody has to deal with whatever weird bullshit was just rolled or pulled, including the GM, right? Like, yeah, the fact that you created this system that is going to hand the players all kinds of things means that now you need to have a way to get them to use them and get them to not hoard them. So it's your own problem. You solved it, I guess. Where else am I going with this? It's just a general look. It's a Monty Cook-ism, is what it is. Cipher systemism. It's a cipher systemism. It works better in some systems than others. Here's the thing: it works better in some systems than others. So, like, when there's like actual magical items, or even Numenera, like there's that. You can kind of like justify it as being this weird, just otherworld radiation and power, and they just affect each other, and they're just finicky, weird little items, right? There was this book. This was this game called I'm blanking on the name. So it was a Monty Cook game. It's another Monty Cook joint, and it was future time traveling dinosaur shenanigans, basically. Like, you were time travelers from the far future who went back in time to dinosaur times because there is a specific something that is needed back there. I don't remember. The lore gets complicated after that point. Like, there are reasons why you can't just go back. There are factions. Shit has gone weird. People ride dinosaurs. And for whatever reason, occasionally people from the future just, I guess, beam down from the future random shit. Just random magic items. There might as well be magic. There's all technology. This one's a more sci-fi game, but like just random high-tech weird shit. And they don't just give it to people. I guess they just kind of send it back into the past, and it just shows up where it shows up. And so that game in specific, even though having like basically had to like go like, okay, so we can't just have people find items within. In order to make them fit into the mechanics, talk about like, and that's really my complaint, right? In order to make it fit into the mechanics, we had to come up with this whole thing that the weird tech items are powered by future energy, and that future energy, and they're whatever, they're vibrating with time travel ions, and that's why having too many of them at once causes them to interfere with each other. But the point is that there is a core cipher system book which I don't have and haven't read, so it is quite likely that this is addressed in that book. But up until now, I do not know if there's got to be a way, and the way is just to ignore that, basically to ignore that rule, I guess. But there's got to be a way to not have that be a mechanic in your game, because what if you want to use a cipher system and you want to in general kind of like, go with the core mechanics, but it doesn't, like, you basically have to somehow shoe in some kind of in-world limitation / justification for why people can't carry more than 3 magic / special / advanced items at once, without them interfering and causing trouble and potential injury and whatnot. Any world that you create, you kind of have to shoehorn that into the world lore, which feels weird, right? It feels like a sort of weird limitation to have, that a game has to have that mechanic. And I think that's, again, I should hope that in the full cipher system book, I think Dave has it, I should borrow it from him. I can, there's got to be a way to somehow work around that restriction, right? There's got to be, alternative system to that they present. I hope, because otherwise you get games like, is it Reclamation? No, I don't think it's Reclamation. God damn it! I'll have to look it up later. But you get games like that sort of dinosaur time traveler thing where like the bulk of the game was really solid, but that specific thing that for whatever reason they don't quite really like, it felt really shoehorned in. That just, and for whatever reason, people from the future are like Hunger Gamesing random gifts to the past, or there's just like random time flotsam that is like time infected, time radiating chronozoic radiation. I don't know. There was some stuff. I'd have to look at the book, which I don't have. This one was one of Billy and Angela's books, so it's their fault. Also, just there was, I think we got that game probably around the time when we were either looking at Hex Hollow Earth Expeditions, because Angela does love to run games in that sort of, no worries Phoenix, take care, come back when you can, take your time. But I think Angela had that like she just liked running like those pulpy kind of setting games. So seeing just people riding dinosaurs and shooting like big elaborate guns at one another on the cover was right up our alley. I was like, oh, it felt in theme with like Hex and games of its ilk. But then again, I think we ended up kind of disappointed in that, because especially it was the mechanics. It was just it felt out of place. And I guess since we associated the mechanics so much with Numenera, it felt like, why am I playing Numenera? Especially with the stuff with like the items and the magic items and the restrictions there, which you kind of just grew to accept with basic Numenera. But it was like, why am I finding that same mechanic here? Feels weird in this setting. And that's it. That's my whole complaint about that. Thank you, viewers, for sticking around while I rant. Anyway, getting back to this game where we have the same thing. We have these items, and you use them once and they go away. So, I mean, I have my complaints about the system as well. And it's one of those, how can I put this? A lot of the time when I've played Numenera, the whole getting a selection of just random items, random ciphers, random ephemera, whatever, to start with, and it's purely random, means that 9 times out of 10 I don't use any of them, or maybe I use one, because a lot of these, in order to have variety, right, they a lot of them are very niche little situations, right? Like, oh, an item that turns up to 10 square feet of stone into water. It's a very specific thing, right? And if you run into that one situation where being able to do that is actually useful, amazing, best feeling in the world. But if you don't, there's gonna be times when you're just kind of like looking and going like, yeah, I got nothing that can help in this situation. But don't you have like 3 ciphers on you? Like, yeah, and none of them are useful. And that's fine every now and then, but it seemed to happen a lot more often. And oh yeah, I'm gonna end today's stream at the 2nd hour. 2nd already. Like, I think yesterday going that long was not great for the old voice box, so I'm kind of feeling it. A second. But yeah. So there's the player side, right? Like, I got an item, and well, that's a cool item, I guess, but the situation's never going to come up. And then you can turn that around and go like, well, actually, right? It's the GM's job, right? It's the GM's job. Like this is partly like to, you know, these are prompts for the GM, right? You just got handed an item that turns granite into water. Now it's the GM's job to figure out what they can toss into the adventure. Maybe not right now, maybe next session, maybe 2 sessions from now, but it's on them to now come up with something, some kind of situation where your cipher is going to be useful. And part of me agrees that it is, in fact, and that's the approach that I would take, right? It's like, okay, so you just got this thing, and now in the back of my head, I'm going to make a note, actually not in the back of my head, I'm going to make a note in my little game notes that now I have to, you know, engineer a situation in which having that that magical item is specifically helpful. But that can be very hard to do. It may I'm not going to derail the entire adventure just to make sure that a player gets to use the annoyingly specific item that they got from the ephemera deck, right? There are workarounds, right? People can just discard them, they can trade them to somebody else, they might sell them, etc., etc. So it's just like, yeah, sometimes you're just gonna get a dud, and that honestly should be part of the experience. I mean, and then you should just get a dud. But it is, like I said, in practice, I found that it feels like it happens too often that I'm fully loaded up with shit that is absolutely useful for the situation at hand. Absolutely useless for the situation at hand. A lot more often than I am finding myself in situations where, like, at least one of the weird little items would actually happen to be useful here. And you can put it up to the GM all you like, but that's a substantial amount of work, and it's not always obvious. And for a GM that already has to put in a lot of work, I feel like, you know, it would be really useful. Is a sort of GM section in which all, or most, if not all, of these magic items get just a little bit of extra notes going, like sample situations where this thing might be useful that are not immediately obvious, so that you can steal some of them basically for your players. Because the danger, right, the danger with putting that on the GM and making and setting that expectation that if a player gets an item, then there's going to be a situation, then it's up to the GM to create a situation in which the item is useful, is that it's going to set that expectation every time. A player's going to find an item, and then they're going to know, like, all right, so that means it's the you know, the couple of crates of health potions and boss and mana potions, and for some reason fire grenades right before the entrance to what appears to be some kind of cold/ice based monster. Do you think the game is hinting at me that the next monster might have some kind of fire weakness, and that is why I'm being given fire grenades? It might, you know. So if you're fine with that in game, then again, more power to thee, friend. But I feel like it sets some weird expectations. If it happens every time, right? So it's like, I guess, a balance. Like, try and engineer a situation in which one of your character's current ciphers might be useful. and then the other ones might just happen naturally, or the player might sell them or whatever. And then once the situation happens and the item is used, then you can look at the remaining items and go like, okay, you're next, right? And then the other kind of ignore the other ones, right? And you kind of have to like spread it out. But again, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work in order to avoid becoming entirely predictable, which tends to be kind of the death of that sort of thing, right? It's fun the first time, but then after every single time that you get an item, that's like, all right, well, there's going to be a puzzle or a side quest or whatever attached to this every single time. Like it's less realistic if every item is useful. Like, again, it's that video game syndrome where it's just like everything that I can interact with is interactable for a reason. There is no just random like, no, that plate's just a plate. Like, no, if I can pick up this plate, then that means at some point there is some puzzle that involves this plate. And I know that because all the other plates in this table cannot be picked up, so this is a special plate. Also, it gleams golden. So kind of like that. Like, if my character picked it up, that means it is significant. And it's like, not always. Sometimes your character's just going to pick up some bullshit. It's fine, right? But it is a hard balance to hit, because if you ignore all of them, then it really does become like, again, I distinctly remember some Numenera games where like I just had the same like 3 ciphers for like 5-6 sessions because they were just inapplicable to 99.9% of all situations. And the GM certainly didn't know. So like, it's failure all around. So it's one of my worries with systems like this, with the ephemera and ephemera objects and the incantations. Now, I do like the concept of incantations. So let's kind of keep going here. So you've got a table of all the ephemera objects and their levels, and then you got the actual decks that you can go through. Let's actually look at a couple of these ephemera. So right away at the top of the deck, we've got beetle bullets. Big bad beetle bullets. They look like blue-black beetles. Checks out. When loaded into a pistol or rifle, this living beetle functions like a bullet, except that it burrows into whatever it strikes, inflicting 4 more points of damage on the following round. You must keep the beetle fed and alive for it to function. Delightful. Let's pull another one, shall we? Let's pull an infernal contract. Oh, I broke the thing that was holding it together. Oh well. All right, well then, infernal contract. This one has a lot of text. Yeah, nope, bad, don't like. Exactly, nope, not a fan of getting shooting, getting shot. Nothing, really, just insect magic in general. Just gross. Infernal contract, level 7, form of a blank sheet of paper. If you are a goetic, this contract allows your next summoning to conjure a devil 3 levels higher than your maximum with no increase in challenge. However, in order to complete the colloquy, you must sign the contract in which you promise to commit 1 action the devil asks of you in addition to any other stipulation or requirements involved in this colloquy. If you are not a goetic, if you sign this contract, a level 5 devil appears and commands you to perform a task. In return, it will perform 1 service for you, as long as the service can be completed within an hour and does not require the devil to travel more than 1 mile. Alright, so that's useful. Let's check one last. The Recrudescence. It's a level 6 red item in the form of a silver amulet. If a negative ongoing effect that you cast upon or otherwise bequeathed upon someone ends, but they are still within the long range, you can make the effect take hold again. This is true of an effect that depletes or one that has been alleviated or cured in some way. The original effect must be level 6 or lower. Oh, recrudescence. Okay, that's cool actually. So basically I cast a hex on you, and it, like, you know, it what's the word? It depletes, right? It depletes on a 0 through 2, for example. So first round you roll. Oh, well, that's a 1. So it immediately depletes, but because I can use the silver amulet, I can basically activate the recrudescence, and it just immediately comes right back. That is cool. That is kind of cool, actually. All right, cool. So we got some ephemera items. This random shit that you can find. But then there's the incantations thing, and incantations are particularly interesting because they count against your ephemera limit. So they are kind of like a type of magic item, but they are not, in fact, as the name would imply with incantations, not magic items. It's kind of assumed that in this game that as a Visle, you meditate. Like the morning, at night, at some point, but you spend some time in a meditative trance. It doesn't have to be a long one. It might be just like a quick 10-minute meditation in the morning. You know, maybe while you're brushing your teeth, just kind of like, oh, money, pardon me. You know, point is, during this meditation, thoughts from the universe might flow through your head, and occasionally a little secret, an incantation, a bit of magic will kind of just catch on your mind and just kind of cling there. And that's an incantation. And it works like an ephemera item, which you use it and then it's gone, right? And then the next day, next time you kind of do your little meditation thing, another little random incantation might hit your head, your pretty little head. And then it just kind of stays there until you cast it, at which point then the next day, and so forth and so on. So it's just like, no matter who you are, you're just having little incantations come into your head and flit away just as easily on a daily basis. And then that is where what they call conation incantations come, which is why you're supposed to actually keep track of the incantations you get. Because if you get one that's really cool, then later on when you advance in your ranks, you can choose one of those previously received incantations to be a conation incantation, declaration, proclamation. A conation incantation, and that means that now, going forward, when you do that little meditation in the morning, instead of getting a random one, you can choose, actually no, let me get that one again. And then as you grow in power, you can add some more conation incantations as you go. But it becomes just a handy little, like, okay, I've got like these access to these extra abilities now as well. Regular access, as opposed to some days you wake up, for example, and you might get the first card that we see here. I quench my thirst on milk and honey. Level 6, you refresh one pool of your choice and gain a +2 bonus to the action you take in the next round. Simple, right? Just use that spell and one of your pools refreshes and you gain a bonus. Cool, simple, easy peasy spell, a little incantation, very useful. You might get something like Many Are the Singular, a level 4 incantation. You cast this incantation on a single object that you can lift in one hand and create 99 identical duplicates that randomly fill a very large area around you. The duplicates are a useless flim-flam, but they cannot be revealed as such unless an action is taken to examine each one. Although duplicates are permanent if left alone, each one crumbles to powder once its nature is revealed. Like, this is one of those, like, once you get it once, if you're a thief, you're trying to recapture that high forever, right? Meanwhile, you can have very powerful ones like Marvel at Your Own Doom, which is level 8. If between now and the next sunrise you reach a point where just one wound will kill you, this incantation takes effect. Power surges within you, and you add 5 to your sorcery pool. All your daily rests are reset, and you gain +3 armor from a scintillating field around you. Ends when the sun next rises. Color invisible. So imagine, just wake up one day, and for that one day, I'm just feeling lucky. I'm feeling like I'm going to get hit, but I'm going to get back up again. And in fact, you do. But it's just that one day. Let's see another one here. Be not dismayed, O faint of heart. Level 4, +1 die. If any being within very long range of you feels fear, anxiety, or nervousness, you are able to quell those emotions with a few small gestures. The beings become instead confident, courageous, and even heroic, and act accordingly. The effect ends if they are injured, if one of their actions causes a magical flux to occur, or after 10 minutes have passed. So yeah, okay, one last one. What's that? Ooh. Interesting. Okay, the child's eyes see more. It's a level 5 incantation. You conjure a pale, child-sized being that looks like a relatively featureless and plain child of indiscriminate age and gender. It goes where you go and points at things it perceives as dangerous. Its perception and insight are uncanny but not flawless. Level 7. It cannot speak or take actions other than walk or point. It has 2 armor, but if it suffers even 1 point of damage, the incantation ends. Depletion, it ends automatically when the sun next sets. So that's a cool, creepy one. You summon a little ghost kid, doesn't say a word, just follows you silently, and just as silently points anytime it senses danger. Flavor-wise, there's some really cool stuff. Like if anything, I'm ambivalent on the ephemera objects. It really kind of, again, we're just got that shoehorning of, just the cipher system thing onto here, I guess. Sure, fine. But the incantations, that I really like. I'm a sucker for just getting fun little weird random shit on a daily basis. As many a mobile ad-ridden game has discovered, much to their delight, that kind of attack is super effective on me. So, let's see. We're almost done with this book. Cool. So it's all in contention. I got objects of power. We got many decks of objects of power, as you can see here. And objects of power are more powerful. These are artifacts. These are relics. These are things that linger. They are magical items that have a more permanent nature than ephemera objects, and they can potentially be used many times. Objects of power is such a maker term. This they more likely say magical items or magical tools, if you lump them all together as magical weapons, even though they are by no means all weapons. People in general say wondrous devices or just devices. Even more likely, however, is that people don't need to refer to them collectively at all. A Visle with a patient prism has no reason to think of it in the same terms as the lithiferous brand a demon offers them in exchange for a favor to be named later. People walking around with aether links would not think to associate them in any way with the infamous weapon simply called that sword. We've seen that sword in a previous stream, actually, and that was a good time. So let's actually check out a few of these. There's a limit within them, so basically you're limited to a maximum of 3 objects of power at a time. Using objects of power, so they deplete. They have a level value. The power listings. So let's just check a few here from this deck. Let's see here. So we've got the Murderer's Gloves. Oh, this is a kindled item. Okay. So lots of kindled items in this deck. Sure, might as well. Let's check out the Murderer's Gloves. They are kindled item, level 2. So kindled items, by the way, are more like clothes that give you bonuses to certain actions. They're like the simplest type of persistent magical item. For example, the Murderer's Gloves, level 2. They're dark black and red gloves. The wearer gains 2 Bene in accuracy and 2 Vex in interaction, as well as +1 melee damage. The gloves look and smell of murder. Let's see, and another quick kindled item is the Silent Boots, level 2. Really want to turn us into an assassin, don't you? The wearer gains 3 Bene in movement and 1 Vex in interaction when wearing these quiet but suspicious-looking boots. So you get the idea. You get Benes, but you also get some Vexes to kind of counterbalance it out. Then we got a relic, a level 4 relic, Enost. It looks like a multicolored stone found only in isolated locales in the blue. Enost is sometimes called Dreamstone. If the owner sleeps and dreams while physically touching Enost, the next day it will be in the shape of an object from their dream. That's actually kind of cool. I like that one. Let's see. So relics. Okay, so object deletion 0. Check each hour. Object deletion, nothing happens. Okay. So these are relics. Wooden knife. So the wooden knife is not a relic and it's not a kindled item. Just a regular object of power, level 4. A knife made of light balsa wood. This knife is a poor weapon. However, when it is used to make a slicing motion in the direction of a close being, that being's thoughts are cut in half, effectively breaking their concentration so they lose their next action. Hence the wooden knife. It cuts through thoughts. That's cute. And then object depletion. So, okay. So, relics seem to be more permanent. Like, they might not have object depletion. The effect might deplete, but the object never depletes. That's a relic. The wooden knife has depletion of 0. Check each use. So, every time you use your wooden knife, it has its effect, but you also check depletion. 2 did not deplete. 8 did not deplete. 2 again did not deplete. But haha, 0. It depleted and it finally broke. No more wooden knife for you. So they are more permanent than ephemera, but not 100% permanent. Relics seem to be 100% permanent. And some are less permanent though. So that one, for example, depletes on 0. Then we've got the wings of the Grail Moth, which you can see down here. They deplete on 0 to 1. Check each use, effect depletion, check each hour. So the effect might deplete at some point, the item might deplete and no longer do it. So, you know, you got to remember those. But okay, so that seems to be the general vibe, right? Kindled items never deplete, they just do their thing, but they come with a downside. Relics do their thing and are permanent forever, as a rule. And then objects of power are just more durable. They just have multiple uses and they will at some point deplete. You get the idea. You got the idea there. All right, let me put these away. And let's move on to the next part. The changeries. So there's a whole thing on the changeries and why there's some multiple levels of changes. And it is a little weird how much detail is spent on this to make yourself as different and as weird as you want to be. Like, so many changes, and you can kind of like give yourself drawbacks to be able to afford them. At the higher levels though, okay, at the higher levels there are details. So that's the thing. Okay, let's spend some time with the changeries real quick. So changeries are basically just, think of them as tattoo shops, but they're body mod shops. They're body modification, but in this world, talk about extreme body modification, right? You can literally give yourself almost anything you can imagine, right? And they can do it. And so there's a lot of stuff like low level changes, level 1 through 3 changes. They cost 1 mage coin per level, take about an hour. And it's stuff like changing your skin color, getting a tattoo, changing your tooth color, changing your eye color, changing your blood color. So, mostly color changes at those levels. But then level 4 to 6 changes, again, still primarily just cosmetic. So you can have feathers for hair, gemstones for eyes, fire for eyes. Eyes are black voids. Clock faces for eyes, small horns, your eyes now glow, extra fingers do not connect to hand, you can change your gender, you can have smoke for hair. So again, mostly just cosmetic changes. And then level 7 8, still primarily cosmetic, but now higher levels of weird. Like, for example, giving yourself a full hawk head or raven head, wolf head, octopus head, always popular. Frog heads, insect heads, mushroom heads. A building head. You can have a house for a head. Head like a hole. A sphere head, an eyeball head. Just want your whole head to be just one big eyeball. The changeries are here for you. Your head is invisible, but your eyes are not. That's a good one. It's creepy. Your head could just be disconnected. You could have a hole in your flesh. You could have a useless tail. You can have metal replacing portions of your flesh, or ceramic replacing portions of your flesh. You can bleed mercury rather than blood, bleed ice or oil, bleed insects. Who doesn't want to bleed insects? You can make portions of your body invisible, ladies. It's not until you get to the level 9 and 10 and level 11 changes that you start getting some actual, things. So, for example, much larger eyes, +2 bene to your perception pool. An additional arm, that's always useful. An additional eye located either on your hand or the back of your head. You can have tentacles for hair, which gives you a level 5 attack doing 5 damage. You can have an enormous mouth, which gives you a level 4 attack that does 5 damage. You might have an additional face. That's its own reward. You can have a tentacle beard. Ooh, or tentacle tongue. Again, ladies. You can have a snake that lives in your head and exits through the eye. That's a level 5 attack, 5 damage. You can have the lower body of a wolf, which gives you +2 bene to your movement pool. So if you can be a lion, turtle, body, turtle. Your hand is a claw. The claw also is a Philo 5 weapon, inflicts 5 damage. Hand replaced with a blade. If you want to go the Captain Hook kind of thing, you can do that. I thought bleeding insects was normal. My doctor, Dr. Mantis, said it was normal. Then, listen to your doctor. It's very important. Now more than ever. Listen to your doctor. Dr. Mantis knows what they're talking about. You can make a limb liquid. You can gain armor, +1 armor from armor plates. You can get a tail, which gives you bene to your movement pool. You can get gills and actually breathe underwater. So it really is at the high levels. Now you're actually giving your character more things, more powers, more capabilities. Not just doing a physical sort of a visual change. Then at level 11, you can have a full metal body, +2 armor, a crystal body, +2 armor. Your body is smoke, cannot be affected by matter like a ghost. Body is a cube, can fly. Stuff like that. If you want to if you just want to be a cube, do you want to be a cube? Do you want to be a cube? Well, that's going to cost you 5 mage coins per level. So that's a lot. And they take 2 visits, each one taking at least 48 hours. So you're going to spend better part of a week, but we're going to make a cube out of you. And then you can take some drawbacks to kind of lower the cost a little if you want to. For -2 levels each, you can have fun little drawbacks to your new eternal floating metal cube form, like you require something other than regular air. Maybe you require drinking the blood of humans every day, so maybe you're a vampire cube. Maybe you have to eat human flesh every day. That's fun. Maybe you require a special injection every day, which costs at least 10 crystal orbs. Or you require a particular leaf of emotion every other day. Maybe you require that someone other than you cast any spell of level 7 or higher upon you any day. Every day, rather. You might maybe have some debilitating side effect that gives you a +2 bonus or a 2 movement vex. Or maybe it requires suffering 1 wound every day. Or maybe the change requires the permission and direct intervention of an entity of at least level 14, or 4 levels higher than the change, whichever is higher. Or maybe it prevents conventional sleep, but not the need for sleep. So, I mean, those are some wild drawbacks that you can pick to be able to make yourself, okay, you know what, my body is smoke, you can't do shit to me, but also I haven't slept in weeks and I'm so goddamn tired all the time. Why don't you take some sleeping aids? I would, but I'm made of smoke. I can't take pills. Turns out I'm made of smoke now. But for some reason I still need to sleep. But I can't, because I am smoke. Remember how the Changeries said, all sales are final? They meant that shit. My life is now hell. That's Invisible Sun in a nutshell. I think that is the most invisible of all the suns. The real Invisible Sun. The real sun was the invisibles we met along the way. So, with that in mind, which would be the next book that we're supposed to look at? We're going to be wrapping up the stream actually very shortly. I'm calling it 2 hours in because my voice, my son, please, he's so sick. My voice, I can feel that I should not have streamed for 6 hours yesterday. I'm kind of thinking, especially considering that there's a non-zero chance that I may be doing interviews and stuff soon. And unfortunately not tabletop RPG interviews for the stream, but rather me getting interviewed for potential work. I should probably save my voice somewhat for those things. So we're about to finish the stream. But the next book that we're going to look at tomorrow, hopefully a full 4-hour stream, will be The Path of Sun, City of Saturn, Fartown, sorry. So this one's more of a setting book. The Path, now we're actually going to be looking more at the setting. And now we've seen all about our characters. Now let's learn about the land, the City of Saturn, the people in it, where the Visley live in general, rather than just their specific neighborhoods, etc. And then at the end, there's the Gate, which is more of a game mastering and advanced rules thing, which I'm really curious about. I'm really curious about what the advanced rules and alternate rules are going to be, because again, this game, it's not the simplest. It's not the simplest one. But yes, so again, we will be checking out The Path, specifically The Path of Suns, starting tomorrow. With just good time, the precepts of the sun, all this stuff. We're going to learn about it. I'm excited to learn about it. I'm excited to spend more time with all of y'all. And just to kind of wrap things up, we'll go over here to the main interface. Say, well, thank you, Phoenix. Appreciate the well wishes. Again, I could stick around, but like I trust your body. Trust your body. I feel like I don't wanna push. Don't want to continue ranting. I think if it was video gaming, I think that's part of why I was able to go so long, right? Because while video gaming, there's parts where you're just playing the game, But for this kind of stream where it's just me yapping, it's just me yapping, you know, the voice, the moneymaker, if you will, needs to be conserved. Hey PB, thanks, I appreciate that. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go take care of me. So folks, as always, thanks so much for hanging out. We've got a small crowd today, so I'm going to skip all the usual promos because I'm just kind of assuming that you know, the folks here are regulars. But the only one I will say again is the socials, just in case anybody's watching and has just been lurking and is curious about what we actually normally do here. It's this, just more of this, and slightly more coherent. So that is my my socials. And PB, thank you for promoting my games. If you think that I'm a cool hoopy fruit, if you would, and would like me to run games for you, I can be hired to do that, because as I may have hinted at once or twice during the stream, I need money. And on that cheery note, we end the stream. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will definitely be back tomorrow. As always, keep an eye on my socials in case anything changes. And you know, I will not. I'm not even going to threaten that I might be back later tonight. I won't. I'm going to conserve this beautiful voice for the future. Maybe put it on screen too, so it doesn't show on stream. Yeah. No, I gotta do that. I gotta have it like be a pop-up, because it shows up on actual chat. Yeah, but it doesn't show up there on the little side chat. Which, you know, there's a setting for that. I know how to change that. I'm just not gonna do it now. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up before you all get hit with the ads. It's also about to be ad time, and no, let's not give the ads a satisfaction. Let's end it here. Let's be clean and clear. Thanks as always so much for hanging out. Appreciate the advice, PB. I will see you all again soon. Have a good time zone wherever you may be, and bye-bye. Be back tomorrow.